The symptoms of heart attack every woman over 60 must watch. There is a silent conversation happening inside millions of women over the age of 60. And it may be happening inside you right now. It is made up of whispers you never speak out loud. When you feel overwhelming fatigue and quietly tell yourself, "I'm just getting older." When back pain makes it hard to stand upright and you dismiss it by saying, "Maybe I worked too hard in the garden." When you wake up in the middle of the night, your heart racing, your chest tightening, yet you keep it to yourself because you don't want to worry your children. Have you ever done that? Have you stayed silent when your body was actually crying out for help? We as women have been taught to endure. But what if that very habit of enduring is the reason so many of us leave this life earlier than we should? And what if a heart attack arrives, but looks nothing like what you've seen in the movies? No crushing chest pain, no dramatic collapse, just a deep exhaustion, a restless night, or a sudden wave of nausea you assume is only your stomach. Would you recognize it for what it really is? In the next part, you will discover why after the age of 60, a woman's heart speaks in an entirely different language, and the silent reason thousands of women lose their chance to survive simply because they do not listen to it in time.
1. Why women over 60? The secret of estrogen. Have you ever wondered, why do I feel my body weakening so much faster after turning 60? Why do symptoms that once passed quickly now seem to linger and cling to me? The answer may lie in something silent that you have never been told clearly enough: estrogen. For most of your life, your heart has been quietly protected by a faithful companion, the hormone estrogen. It is not only a reproductive hormone, it is like a soft suit of armor for the cardiovascular system, keeping your blood vessels flexible and relaxed, lowering bad cholesterol while raising good cholesterol. That is why, when younger, women are far less likely than men to suffer a heart attack. But what happens when menopause arrives? When the ovaries stop producing enough estrogen, that protective armor begins to thin. And suddenly, your heart, once shielded, is now more vulnerable than ever. According to the American Heart Association, more than 75% of women between the ages of 60 and 79 are living with some form of cardiovascular disease. Even more frightening, most of them have no idea. They still walk, still laugh, still believe they are only getting a little older. But are you certain you are truly fine? Are you confident that the lingering aches, the exhausting mornings, the sleepless nights are not warnings in disguise? And so the real question is not, am I at risk, but rather, am I listening in time to the final whispers from my heart? And if your heart does not cry out in pain, but instead whispers through other subtle signals, would you know how to recognize them? Let us begin with the most easily overlooked sign, the misplaced pain that so many women mistake for problems with the shoulder, the teeth, or the spine. 2. Sign 1. Pain, not in the chest. When you picture a heart attack, you probably imagine a man clutching his chest, collapsing on the kitchen floor. But for women, especially women over 60, the heart often chooses a different way to speak. Have you ever felt a dull ache in your jaw, a tightness in your neck, or an upper back pain that feels as if someone were pulling a rope around you? And then you reassure yourself, maybe I slept in the wrong position, or it's probably just my teeth. The truth is, many women arrive at the emergency room with pain in the shoulder, the neck, or the jaw, only to find out they have just experienced a heart attack. A PubMed study revealed that women are 9.6 times more likely than men to have mid-back pain during a myocardial infarction. Yes, you heard that correctly, almost 10 times more likely. This pain is not the sharp stabbing kind, like being pierced with a knife. It is dull, heavy,
as though a stone were pressing down on your body. And it is particularly dangerous because you can still walk, cook, host guests, even while your heart is suffering severe damage. So, if yesterday you felt soreness in your shoulder all morning, or if your jaw ached for no clear reason, did you pay attention to it? Would you dare to consider that it might be the first, and perhaps the only warning sign of an oncoming heart attack? If the pain is not where you expect it, then the next symptom may surprise you even more. Have you ever sat still, yet felt short of breath, as if you had just run a marathon? Be prepared, because this is one of the easiest warning signs to overlook.
3. Sign 2. Unexplained shortness of breath. Have you ever experienced sudden breathlessness for no reason? No stairs, no heavy work, just sitting there, and suddenly it feels as if someone has taken all the air out of your lungs. A woman's heart has its own unique way of crying out for help, and one of those ways is the feeling that you can no longer take a deep breath. Many people mistake this for anxiety, and yes, anxiety can also cause shortness of breath. But if you find yourself gasping while washing dishes, walking through your house, or even simply talking, that is no longer ordinary anxiety. It could be a signal that your heart is no longer pumping enough oxygen-rich blood throughout your body. A large study published in the American Journal of Medicine found that women often describe shortness of breath rather than chest pain during a heart attack. And this is one of the reasons so many cases are missed in the first crucial hour. Have you ever had to stop in the middle of doing chores just to catch your breath? Have you ever felt as if your throat were blocked, without fever, without cough, without flu? If so, do not ignore that feeling. And this is what makes this symptom so dangerous. It often does not come with chest pain. That means you will not have any clear red flag warning, just heavy breathing, a squeezing sensation in your chest that you cannot explain. And if you think shortness of breath is the only thing to worry about, wait until the next sign, a feeling so familiar that almost everyone has experienced it, yet it is one of the most dangerous imposters of all: nausea and indigestion. Are you ready?
4. Sign 3. Nausea, bloating, indigestion. Have you ever felt bloated after dinner, a little nauseous, and muttered to yourself, "I probably just ate too much"? Or have you ever had heartburn in the middle of the night, the sensation that food was stuck in your throat? Then you drank some water and went back to bed thinking, "Maybe my stomach is just weaker now." That feeling, so ordinary, so mild, is exactly what has caused thousands of women to miss the early warning signs of a heart attack. When the heart is deprived of blood, it can send signals to the stomach. Many women have walked into the emergency room believing they had ulcers, gastritis, or food poisoning, only to walk out with devastating news. They had just suffered a silent myocardial infarction. According to a study published on PubMed, women are 2.43 times more likely than men to experience nausea and digestive upset during a heart attack. That number is not just data, it is a warning. If you feel nausea, bloating, indigestion, especially when there is no obvious reason, do not rush to blame dinner. Have you ever felt a heavy, uncomfortable stomach, but no fever, no diarrhea, no signs of flu? Have you ever had the sense that something isn't right, but couldn't put a name to it? Remember, the heart does not always knock on your door with a loud hammer. Sometimes it only taps lightly, like a wave of heartburn or a strange bloated sensation. And are you sure you will listen? Because if you think stomach-related symptoms are easy to dismiss, the next sign is even more dangerous. Exhaustion so overwhelming that you cannot get out of bed, even though you have done nothing at all.
5. Sign 4. Extreme fatigue. Have you ever felt so exhausted that just the thought of folding laundry made you want to sit down? Have you ever found yourself lying in bed all morning, unable to get up, even though you slept a full 8 hours the night before?
And then you told yourself, it must be because I'm old now. That's why I get tired so easily. But what if it isn't laziness and it isn't just age? What if it is your heart slowing down, struggling to pump out every last drop of blood? Fatigue, especially unexplained fatigue that lingers for days, is one of the most distinctive yet most overlooked signs in women before a heart attack. A study published in the Journal of Women's Health reported that women are far more likely than men to experience extreme fatigue in the week leading up to a myocardial infarction. The problem is, this kind of fatigue is unlike any tiredness you have ever known. It does not come after a long day. It comes even when you have done nothing at all. You sit for a while and already feel heavy. You walk a few steps and already feel out of breath. It makes you want to cry because your body feels drained to the core. Are you going through that feeling right now? Have you ever found yourself unable to summon the strength even for the smallest tasks, even though you were usually the diligent one, careful, always taking care of everything? And if you think fatigue is frightening enough, wait until the next sign. Because there will be nights when you wake suddenly in the middle of the night for no reason at all, and your heart is racing as if trying to warn you of something. That is not ordinary insomnia. It is a silent alarm you cannot afford to ignore.
6. Sign 5. Sleep disturbances. Have you ever experienced waking at 2 o'clock in the morning, not knowing why? No noise, no nightmare. You just open your eyes, your heart pounding, with a vague sense of unease, and then you lie there, unable to fall back asleep. Have you ever felt exhausted all day, but the moment you lie down at night, you toss and turn, rolling from side to side? And then you think, it must just be age. Poor sleep is normal at this stage of life. But what if it isn't age? What if it is the very first knock at your door from a heart in crisis? Research published in Circulation, Journal of the American Heart Association, shows that sleep disturbances are among the earliest and most easily overlooked signs in women before a heart attack, especially waking in the middle of the night with palpitations, a racing heart, or unexplainable anxiety, even when you are perfectly fine during the day. This is not insomnia from work stress, nor is it from drinking coffee too late. This is a completely different shift in your body's rhythm, as if your body were trying to wake you, to warn you. Are you going through that? Those nights when you open your eyes and just know that something isn't right, but you cannot name what it is? Are you dismissing those quiet alarm bells? And if on those nights you also break into a cold sweat, feel your heart racing chaotically, then you need to listen closely to what comes next, because that is not just restless sleep. That may be the very moment your heart is struggling with its final beats.
7. Sign 6. Cold sweats, palpitations, rapid heartbeat. Have you ever been sitting still when suddenly your heart began pounding like war drums? Your hands turned icy, your back drenched in sweat, even though you were not hot, not moving, and nothing frightening was happening? You looked around and no one could tell that you were trembling inside, and then you told yourself, it must just be anxiety. But what if it isn't anxiety? What if this is the female version of a heart attack? Not loud, not dramatic, but quiet, relentless, striking through the smallest sensations in your body. Many women have shared that before realizing their heart was in danger, they experienced prolonged palpitations, as if they had a premonition that something was about to happen, accompanied by cold sweats for no clear reason. Cardiologists call this an autonomic storm, a storm in the autonomic nervous system, when the heart is no longer receiving enough blood and the body reacts as if under alarm. And what is striking is this: most of those women never had chest pain at all. Are you experiencing episodes of unexplained rapid heartbeat? Have you ever felt a chill run through your spine, breaking into a cold sweat, even while sitting safely at home surrounded by your family? Do not let the thought, "I'm probably just anxious," deceive you. Because when the heart sends a signal, it does not care what you are doing or how accustomed you are to enduring discomfort. And if your palpitations come and go in cycles, linked to physical activity or emotional stress, then the next sign is one you must never ignore, because it is a very classic but often unrecognized warning: pain that follows the cycle of exertion and rest. Keep watching.
8. Sign 7. Pain that follows the cycle of exertion and rest. Have you ever felt chest tightness or unusual fatigue when carrying groceries? Have you ever walked up a flight of stairs, your heart pounding, your breath shortening, your chest feeling heavy, and then the moment you stopped to rest, everything returned to normal? Have you ever experienced that and still told yourself, "It must just be that I'm losing stamina"? That is not a coincidence. It is one of the clearest clues your heart is leaving behind. Doctors call this angina, a cyclical chest pain, meaning discomfort or pain that happens when your heart demands more oxygen, such as when you exercise, climb stairs, get angry, or feel stressed, and the pain eases once you rest. Many women ignore this warning because they think it comes and goes, so it can't be serious. But that very comes and disappears pattern is what makes it so dangerous, because it lulls you into complacency, delays you from seeking help, and leaves your heart struggling day after day without support. Have you ever felt as if your body were warning you, but you chose to remain silent? Do you remember the last time you had to stop halfway up a slope just to catch your breath? If your answer is yes, don't wait for the next time, because the next episode might not give you the chance to rest at all. And if you think you already know most of the symptoms, prepare yourself for the final one. A sign that seems harmless, often mistaken for just the flu, but in reality, it is the last trap your heart sets if you still refuse to listen.
9. Sign 8. Flu-like feeling, but not the flu. Have you ever woken up in the morning and felt sore all over? Your muscles aching, your head heavy, a chill running down your spine, as if you were about to catch the flu. But then, no fever, no cough, no runny nose. None of the signs of a virus at all, and you begin to wonder, I feel sick, but I don't know why. That vague, unexplained illness is one of the most dangerous imposters of a heart attack in women, because it strikes exactly at the weakest spot of our instinct to care for ourselves: complacency, and the habit of enduring. Many women in studies published in Frontiers in Cardiovascular Medicine described that before their heart attack, they never felt chest pain, only a sense of fatigue, chills, body aches, as if they had the flu, but they never developed a fever. And so they didn't seek medical help. They lay down to rest, drank ginger tea, waited for it to pass. But the heart does not wait. Have you ever felt like that? A day when you felt unwell, with no clear reason, just wanting to stay in bed, and then you told yourself it must be the weather. If so, you need to re-examine every small signal your body sends, because that flu-like symptom may be the last time your heart still has the strength to whisper. And if you still think you have time, wait until the next part. Because science has proven women wait more than twice as long as men before going to the hospital. And that is exactly why so many women's hearts leave this world in silence.
10. Time is life. Do you know how long it takes, on average, from the moment the first symptom appears until a woman calls for emergency help? More than 7 hours. Meanwhile, men take only about 3.5 hours. Half the time, twice the chance of survival. Why?
Because women don't want to bother their children. Because they think, I'll wait until morning to see how it goes. Because they're used to enduring. Because they put dinner, laundry, and promises before their own lives. But the heart does not wait. The heart does not have an appointment calendar. Every minute that passes during a heart attack, part of the heart muscle cells die permanently from lack of oxygen. Every minute that passes is another weaker heartbeat. And after 90 minutes without intervention, the risk of permanent heart damage doubles. Science calls this time is muscle. But for you, it means time to hold your grandchild, time to take your morning walk, time to stay alive. Are you willing to trade all of that just to see how things are tomorrow? Promise me one thing. If you or any woman you love experience any of the signs we discussed in this video, do not wait. Do not call your children first. Do not try to drive yourself. Call 911 right this moment. Because that choice could save your life or leave behind an irreversible regret for the people who love you most. 11. Prevention is better than cure. By now, you may be thinking, so what should I do now? How can I prevent a heart attack? The good news is you don't have to become an athlete, you don't need a strict diet, you don't need expensive medication. You only need to begin today with small, consistent changes. First, movement. You don't have to go to the gym. Just brisk walking 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, already cuts your risk of heart disease significantly. You can put on your favorite music, walk around your neighborhood, and enjoy the fresh air. Your body will thank you for it. Second, smart eating. You don't need to avoid everything. Just remember one principle. Eat more colors, avoid beige. That means more green vegetables, fruits, fish, olive oil, and nuts. Limit white bread, pasta, fried foods, things that raise bad cholesterol. Third, quit smoking. If you smoke, quitting is the greatest gift you can give your heart. And after just 1 year, your risk of a heart attack drops by half. Finally, don't guess, test. Schedule checkups. Know your numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. These numbers are the dashboard of your life. Where can you start today? One phone call to book an appointment, one 15-minute walk, one decision to say no to fried food. Every small action you take today is a shield protecting your heart tomorrow. And if you're worried you won't remember all the signs we've discussed, then the next part is the gift especially prepared for you. Summary of 8 signs to remember. We have walked together through a journey that I know was not easy, but it was necessary. And now it is time to summarize so you can remember clearly and share it with the ones you love most. If you have ever felt extreme unexplained fatigue, if you have had indigestion, nausea, or bloating that was not caused by food, if you have woken in the middle of the night with overwhelming anxiety or a racing heart, if you have felt pain in your neck, jaw, upper back, or arms, remember this: it is not your imagination. It may be your heart calling for help. Here are the 8 silent signs of a heart attack in women. Pain in the wrong place: jaw, back, shoulder, arms, not the chest. Shortness of breath, even while sitting still. Nausea, bloating, heartburn, mistaken for stomach problems. Extreme exhaustion, even without effort. Unusual sleep disturbances, waking with unexplained anxiety. Cold sweats, palpitations, rapid heartbeat. Pain that comes with exertion and eases with rest. Flu-like symptoms without cough, fever, or virus. You don't need to memorize every detail. You only need to listen to your body because it is always speaking to you. The question is, are you listening? And if there is one thing you can do right now to save someone, it is to share this video. Because every time you press send, another heart is protected.